could it be? For me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the AFC South 2019 preview and projections react video. I, of course, am your set man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me tonight on the program as we will take a look at this division. We already have. I've given you my predictions. They are scrolling across the top of the screen. A little different this year for how things are going to turn out. Normally, this is a very competitive division with about 3 teams vying for the number 1 spot and all within 2 games of one another. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. I could be wrong. I can tell you this much. I told you I'm going to be wrong about one of those 6 and 10 teams, and I think they're going to be better. And if I am wrong about one of those 6 and 10 teams, then there will be 3 teams vying for the number 1 spot, and probably all within 2 games of each other. Because I have the Colts and the Jags separated by a game, and I think there will be one more team added to that mix before it's all said and done. And it's going to either be the Titans or the Texans. So I can't tell you which is which. What I can tell you is that I expect this to be a division that is going to be slept on like it normally is, and we'll have one of those teams prove to be really good in the mix. The last 2 years, you had Jacksonville 2 years ago, surprise everyone, make it to the AFC Championship game and come within a quarter of making it to the Super Bowl. And last year, you had the Indianapolis Colts surprise a lot of people, because I was the person saying they were going to go 11-5 and win the division last year. I was that guy, and everyone told me I was crazy because Andrew Luck wasn't right and that they weren't going to win. And when the season started and they got off to that rough start, I looked a little questionable for, and I beat the table down. I was banging the table for the Colts and Andrew Luck. And they proved me right. They got hot at the end of the season, got enough games to win and qualify for the playoffs, 10-6. Got in, went on the road, beat Houston, and beat them up pretty good too, thoroughly dominated them in Houston. And then went to Kansas City and just simply weren't good enough. You could argue that it was too cold for him. Andrew Luck looked like he was cold the entire day. Whatever the case may be, this is a team that I seem to... They're my AFC version of Green Bay, where just because of who is at quarterback, just feel like they got a shot every year. So I'm riding with the Colts again in this division. I think they have a legitimate shot of getting it done. I think Andrew Luck is going to be healthy. And, you know, he may not be ready for week 1, but I think he'll be ready when it's all said and done to help this team win. And I think he'll be healthy once he is able to play. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what this division turns out to be. I was surprised last year by how good Tennessee was. I may be surprised by how good Tennessee is again this season. I thought Mike Vrabel did a really good job last year of getting this team to play some top-notch defense and keeping them in ball games. And they dominated some games. And that's the thing that always scares me with the Titans, is that I just don't know. And I said it already, so I'm not going to continue to beat that dead horse because I've said this numerous times. I say it throughout every season. I say it in the offseason. I'm saying it again this year. I never know what Titans team is going to show up. I never do, you know. And that's a scary thing, because one week they're dominant against the league's best in New England, and then the next week they're getting blanked at home by the Baltimore Ravens, or losing on the road to Buffalo and only being able to score 12 points, I believe it was 13-12. I think they lost that game at Buffalo. So you just never know what's going to happen with them. But nonetheless, phone lines are open. All right, and off we go. AFC South divisional breakdown recap. You guys have the floor. Have at it. I will start by reading off comments. Phone lines are open. I imagine they'll get heated up here in a second. But in the meantime, let's get to the comment section. Make sure you use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read on the air if you want your comment read on the air if it is pertinent. Colts fan says, I'm so thankful Chris B didn't trade away Jacoby. He's an awesome backup quarterback who hopefully can use that can take care of business early on if Andrew can't go. I agree with you wholeheartedly. There was a lot of pressure on Chris Ballard last year to trade away Jacoby Brissett because Andrew Luck was all of a sudden healthy. And so you don't need another guy that's a capable starter potentially in this league. And so why not get the most out of him? Why not trade him and see if you can't extract a second-round pick out of somebody. That was the narrative last year, and like you said, fortunately enough for the Colts, Chris B didn't buckle under that pressure. He didn't submit to various reports that were out there, and he didn't succumb to the pressure of doing what everyone said was the right thing to do, and that's trade Jacoby Brissett. And now, because we all know it takes two in this league, and especially when you have a quarterback like Andrew Luck, who hasn't been the cleanest bill of health, hasn't been the poster child for health throughout his career. You need to have a very capable and competent backup, and Jacoby Brissett is definitely that. So it's definitely a good look for the Indianapolis Colts. Colts fan also says, I also easily see our season spiraling to 6-10 if Andrew can't go. Our schedule is really tough, man. Whether you had a tough schedule or not, if Andrew can't go, you're a 6-10 football team. I mean, that's the difference Andrew Luck makes. He's good for 4 wins. I mean, literally, Andrew Luck is good for 4 wins. So you take him out of the lineup, you're probably a 6-10 team. At best, you're 8-8. At best, without Andrew Luck, you're 8-8. So I'd surmise that his health is definitely vital to the success of your season. Deshaun Draper says, Deshaun Watson leading his team to the Super Bowl 54 in Miami. We'll see about that. Got to fix that offensive line, and I got questions about that defense as well. Colts fan says, I also feel like our O-line is very overrated. We dominate weak pass rushes, and the minute we face that Chiefs pass rush, we folded. I just thought it was a really bad game for everyone involved. I didn't necessarily put it on one particular position. Nobody looked like they were ready to play. And again, don't really know what the impetus for that was, but it just was a bad performance all the way around for everyone involved. My man Nick Riley says, this division got me stuck, Lou. I could honestly see the Jags or the Colts winning, but I just don't see the Jags scoring enough points due to the lack of talent at receiver and tight end. I actually don't think they're that bad at tight end. Where the problem lies for me is at the wide receiver position, but this is what they've been for the last 3-4 years. This is the same cast of characters pretty much. Maybe, 1 or 2 guys subtracted from the group, but for the most part, same cast of characters that helped this team get to the AFC Championship game 2 years ago. So I'm like you, do not love this wide receiver group and think they are lacking at that position. But I got a call, going to take it. You're on live with your man, Louie T. Who am I speaking with?
Yo, what's up, man? This is MJ from Sports Fan Entertainment.
What up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's so good to hear from you.
It's good to hear from you, too, man. Well, at least I thought it was, and then I turned on your little AFC South.
Hey, look, man.
Projection.
I've been watching you. I've been following you, and I've been stalking you. Really, is what I've been doing. And I saw you 12-4. You said, now we can't beat the Colts, but I think we can go 12-4. Now I already said this, and I don't know which team is which, but I said either the Texans or the Titans are going to prove me wrong. I'm going to be critically wrong about one of those two teams. I can't tell you which one. One of those two teams is actually going to be really good. I don't know which one. I'm going to give you a chance to convince me that it's your Titans.
Now, here's the thing, actually. This is actually the thing that's actually going to surprise you. I'm actually not even that pressed by your Tennessee Titans prediction. Because although I don't have them down for 12-4, I think it's possible. I have them down for 11-5 right now.
Okay.
My bigger problem is actually that you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, led by Nicholas Foles, an underwhelming Leonard Fournette, an underwhelming offensive line, probably the worst tight end group in the league, and maybe the worst wide receiver group in the league.
I will
being
second
better
that.
than not only the Titans, but the Texans as well. That is something I just don't understand. The Jacksonville Jaguars are without a doubt. I don't care if they got Big Nick, whatever people want to call it. They are the worst team in the AFC South. I don't know why people are convinced that they're going to be able to rise yet again to where they were 2 years ago, where they went 10-6. Okay, and yes, they made the AFC Championship, but we saw how sporadic they were even that season. It wasn't sustainable, and then last year showed us that. The roster was almost the offensive line they have. He goes out there, he does his thing, he wins football games.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to put the Jaguars with Doug Marrone and head coach. We're going to put the Jaguars over the Texans. And try to explain that to me.
Okay. So here's my logic. You ready? The Jaguars essentially are the same team, and you pretty much said it. Roster-wise, in 2017, they are the same team almost now. While that's a good and a bad thing, I think it's more positive than negative because they know they're capable of doing what they did in 2017. A lot of what happened last year, Fournette was disgruntled, injured. His head wasn't in the game. They needed a run game with Blake Bortles. Bless his heart. They needed a run game last year with him at quarterback. They're going to get, and I think their receiver core, I agree with you. I don't necessarily know if their tight ends are the worst, but their receiving core is the worst in the league to me. So I get that, but their receiving core was the worst in the league 2 years ago when they made it to the AFC Championship game. Nothing has changed. It's the same cast of characters. The same dudes out there that were there 2 years ago, and they've added some guys to that mix. We don't know how good those guys can be, all right, but they've added some guys to that mix. And when you look at their team, when you look at what they've compiled, especially on the defensive side, that's what I'm more bullish on than anything else. While you talk about their offense and how bad they are offensively, and I don't necessarily disagree with that, I actually do think Nick Foles is going to make a difference. Nicholas is going to make a difference in Jacksonville. Their defense is what I'm pretty much placing all of my chips on, is their defense. Because their defense, when it's right, is the most dominant unit in that division and arguably one of the most dominant defenses in all of football. We've seen them dismantle teams before. And the thing that I like about what they do, if they're right, is that defense and run game, it travels. You know, we always talk about it's a passing league, this, that, and the third. But they showed us 2 years ago that you can take a run game and a dominant defense, pack it up, and take it anywhere. Now, it wasn't dominant in the AFC divisional round versus Pittsburgh, but guess what? They scored 43 points, so they still won the damn game, right? So they had New England boxed up for 3.5 quarters, and then, you know, one bad call and a couple of plays here and there, and they lost that game. I think they can get back to that. I think they've got all the pieces in place to get back to being that team. Now, I'll grant you that Deshaun Watson shows up every week, you know, cracked ribs, whatever the case, punctured lung. He shows up, he plays ball behind a garbage offensive line. I'm not a Bill O'Brien guy, never have, never will be, okay? So that's number one. Number two, it's funny, I always look up at the end of the year and wonder, how in the hell did the Texans win 11 games? How the hell did the Texans win 10 games? How the hell did the Texans win the division at 9-7 this year? They always find their way somewhere towards the top of that division. At some point, that magic and luck is going to run the hell out. Why not this year? Why not this be the year that finally everything doesn't click and you start losing games to teams like the Giants at home? That shit's going to catch up to you eventually. You're not going to keep sweeping Jacksonville and you're not going to keep beating up teams in the division. I think they went 5-1 in the division or 4-2 last year in the division. And I got them going 4-2 in the division this year. I got them sweeping Jacksonville. Maybe they don't sweep the Jaguars this year. We'll see. Bottom line is, you can't keep getting by on, hey, Deshaun's going to find a way to will us to a victory. And this year, unlike past years where I've always thought their defense was dominant or at least good enough to keep them in ball games, I don't know what the hell they're putting on the field defensively this year. That secondary is a mess. They're trying to piece it together. All right. I don't know what we're going to get out of that back end. And them thinking that Jadeveon Clowney isn't elite, that's fine by me. But I'm going to tell you right now, you look at the rest of that defense up front, who else besides J.J. Watt, who is getting older if you haven't noticed, who else is dominant up front? You got any answers for me?
I mean, he's not dominant, but DJ Reader is definitely very good nose tackle at this point in the game.
You just said...
Merciless can do his thing.
You said, you just gave me a nose tackle, though. You understand what you just said?
Yeah.
So, bottom line is, I look at the Texans and I say, your defense isn't as good as it used to be. And you're asking Deshaun Watson to, and look, Nuke is, to me, one of the best receivers. He's in the top 3. If you're talking wide receivers in this league, top 2, I think he's, at times, I look at him and say he's the best receiver in the game. So, it doesn't matter who you put out there, he's going to ball. But who else is out there going to help him ball? I don't love their running back situation. I look at their receivers. I know, just like I know Marcus Mariota is going to get hurt at some point, I also know that Will Fuller is going to get hurt at some point.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get hurt.
So,
he's probably weighing like $170.
Exactly. So when you look around at the rest of the cast of characters that they have a receiver, I'm like, who else is going to step up? All right, because teams aren't dumb. They know Nuke is the guy you got to go out there and stop. Easier said than done, but they know that. And now, like I said, I look at them and I just see a football team that to me is trending in the wrong direction. They're going the wrong way. They got one guy at quarterback, and you know quarterbacks make all the difference in the world. But they got one guy at quarterback that they're pretty much resting the hopes of their franchise on and saying, hey, he'll figure it out for us. I don't think that's smart on their part. I thought their draft was awful this year. Didn't really help them, push them forward. And so I think they're going in the wrong direction. I'm not a huge Bill O'Brien fan. There's always something going on with him. And so I think this is the year they take a step back. And then you said Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville made the right move, which was getting a quarterback, because I think a lot of their problems last year with them returning back to as basement dwellers was that they couldn't count on their offense. You know how sometimes when you got a dominant defense and a bad offense, you start getting finger pointing going on and you start saying, oh shit, here we go again after the first pick or after the first fumble. And you're saying, here we go. We got to pitch a perfect game. And if we don't, we're going to lose. They don't have to do that anymore with Nicholas Foles. And you always think you got a shot. And you don't know how that makes a huge difference for a team when they think it don't matter how bad we play or how close the game is. As long as we give our offense a shot, we got a shot at the end because we got Big Dick Nick. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
That's all great and all, but like you said, I agree. The defense is absolutely dominant, without a doubt. Right? I look at the best defenses in the league. Like you look at Baltimore, Chicago, Minnesota, Buffalo. Like they all have a certain baseline number of wins because their defenses are so damn good. But I think you're looking at one of the worst offenses in the league. Unless if Leonard Fournette can, get to where we all thought he would be coming into this league. In his rookie year, he was pretty good. But I think he even has to surpass that before we talk about the Jags beating at least 500. I just think they're going to be under 500 right now.
Mm-hmm. I hear you, and your argument is valid because their offense has to produce, and I don't think they have to be world beaters with just how good their defense is, but they have to produce at a much higher clip than they did last year, and I think they can do that. They got a new offensive coordinator that is very familiar with Nicholas Foles, and I think it's the perfect storm coming in there with. It's almost like a breath of fresh air for them. I like you. I'm not the biggest Mike Mularkey fan, or not Mike Mularkey, but Doug Marrone fan.
Doug Marrone.
I'm not the biggest Doug Marrone fan, but I think that getting Nicholas Foles in there, getting a new offensive coordinator, and I didn't even think Nathaniel Hackett was the issue, to be honest with you. I think they were just looking for a scapegoat. At the end of the day, I think that this team has a chance to win 9 games, possibly 10, but I got them at 9-7, and compete in this division. I think they're going to be joined by either the Titans or the Texans. I told you I'm going to be wrong about one of those two teams, but if Andrew Luck's healthy, the Colts will be there. I think the Jags are going to be there, and one of those other two teams probably going to join them in the race for the top spot in this division.
All right, man. Well, I got to run, but thanks for taking my call, and we'll see about those Jaguars.
Hey, man. Hey, I will be here, and as a matter of fact, we will have this conversation, let's say somewhere around week 13, week 14, and I'm going to tell you, I told you so about the damn Jaguars. Watch.
All right, we'll see. All right, see you later.
All right, man. Have a good one. That's my good old buddy, MJ. Haven't spoken to him in so long. That was refreshing. That was fun. I didn't expect to hear from him. And like I said, I've been stalking him and listening to him on Twitter and watching his videos. And he thinks his team's going to be pretty good this year. But his gripe wasn't with me having his team at 6-10. His gripe was with me having not only his team at 6-10, excuse me, the Titans, but the Texans at 6-10, and the Jaguars better than both of them at 9-7. That was his biggest gripe. Anyway, I'm not moving off of that ledge by the way. Even if I'm out there by myself, I think the Jaguars are going to be good this year. I just do. Anyway, Ricky L says, hashtag Nick sucks. You aren't saying that when he won you a Super Bowl, bruh. Stop your nonsense. Stop it, okay? I will not stand for the Nicholas Foles slander, especially from a damn Eagles fan. You owe that man. Zip it or I break your hip. All right? Got a call, gonna take it. You're on live with your man Louie T. Who am I speaking with?
Hello, Louie. This is Rob.
What's going on, Rob?
Hi. I guess I would like to talk about the quarterbacks in this division. Basically, I'm just going to go ahead and start off by saying all 4 teams are going to finish 8-8.
You can't do that, Rob.
Sure, I can.
Oh, man.
But anyway, being from the Northwest, Pacific Northwest, I kind of tend to root for, college players who played around here. So, having Mariota with the Titans, while sounding good, has not really produced that well. I have a funny feeling, or a sad feeling, that he's not going to be able to earn his contract for next year, at least not a starting style contract. I think he'll end up losing his starting job pretty much sometime this year. And, one thing I wanted to say that, earlier today, you had your, on YouTube, you had the trade going, or not the trade, but a trade possibility of Trent Williams for Clowney.
Yeah.
I would find that quite intriguing, really. I think that would be like a win-win. Well, I don't think you guys are going to end up with Williams this year. I think he's pretty much saying that he's not going to play for you. I think he's not lying about that.
Right.
So I don't know which team would bite about what else is in that deal, but either way, I think it would probably be an intriguing deal. But I can't use that in my arguments today. Deshaun Watson, I want to say that, I think he's probably the best quarterback. Well, not necessarily the best quarterback. He's a better quarterback than Nick Foles and whatever the Titans can throw out.
Okay.
I think that having Williams on his offensive line would really help his stability, or ability to actually do a lot of winning this year. But like I said, we can't really go on that basis right now. With Andrew Luck, these little year-by-year health problems don't really inspire a whole lot of major confidence, although he is a superior quarterback to maybe anybody outside of Patrick Mahomes and the AFC this year and going forward.
Right.
And in the case of Nick Foles, I kind of worry that they're going to end up getting the Rams Nick Foles rather than, the Philadelphia Nick Foles. It always seems like when he's in Philadelphia, he gets the taste of that water up there, and it seems to help him a lot more than I see him, performing. But in the case of the Jaguars are going to have the best defense in the division.
Yep.
And I think if you want to know who I think will be 1, 2, 3, and 4, I think I'm going to base it on the coaches this year.
Okay.
And I think that the Titans have the best coach, followed by the Colts, and then I'm not out of Bill,
Bill O'Brien.
Bill whatever his last name
Bill
is.
O'Brien.
So I guess I'd go with Jaguars third and Texans fourth.
Okay. All right. So Rob says everybody's 8-8, but we're gonna base it off the coaches, and he likes Mike Vrabel the best. So he's got the Titans first. He then has the Colts second, likes Frank Wright. I'm a Frank Wright guy. I think that I was really surprised at how well both of those first-year head coaches performed last year. And
but in his case, I just think that he was lucky that he had Andrew Luck, to be his quarterback.
Hey, look, man. Anybody that has Andrew Luck is pretty lucky. So yeah. I don't really blame him for that.
I guess that's what his last name is, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, I appreciate you calling in, Rob, and hey, you have a good night, man. Take care.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
No doubt. So, Rob says everybody's going 8-8, but if he has to choose, he's going to do it by coaches. Thinks that Mike Vrabel is the best. It's hard to really say who's the best coach in this division, to be honest with you. I guess if you're going off of experience and winning, Bill O'Brien has done it more than anybody else in this division. I think Doug Marrone is probably the bottom feeder when you're talking about coaches in this division. I actually like what Mike Vrabel did in year one. I like his aggressiveness. I always remember the Eagles game last year. I think that he's a guy that's going to roll the dice. I know where he stands. Similar to Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron, call him whatever you want. I love the fact that he rolls the dice. I didn't think he needed to roll the dice last year over in London versus the Los Angeles Chargers. I thought they had all the momentum in the second half of that game, kicked the extra point. You're probably going to win that football game in overtime, but he went for two. They didn't get it. They lost 20-19. It happens. But then, you have games where he rolls the dice like against Philadelphia and they come out victorious. So it works both ways. I like Mike Vrabel. I like Frank Wright. And I think those are the coaches that I think are going to be the future of that division. Again, assuming health of their respective quarterbacks. So in any event, got a call. Going to go ahead and take it. Oh, just missed that call. So continue to call in. Phone lines are open. I apologize for missing that last call. Next. Colts fan says, I don't care how much trash people talk about the Jags, but I'm scared of them. That defense always gives us trouble and will be motivated with a good QB. I'm with you on that, my man. I am with you on that all day long. Got a call. Going to go ahead and take it. You're on live with your man, Louie T. Who am I speaking with?
B.E.
What up, B.E.?
Just got home.
All right. Perfect timing.
So I haven't been able to watch the first video yet that you did of what your record is, but to me, I don't know about this division. It's a toss-up. I honestly think this is a two-team race. If Andrew Luck is healthy and he stays healthy, the Colts have the best team overall. Coaching, offense, defense. But that all depends on Luck's health. Mm-hmm. I do like Nick Foles to the Jags. They now have a competent quarterback. Blake Bortles was garbage and he was trash. And now the Jags have a chance to win games without him or with a better quarterback. The Texans, the whole Jadeveon Clowney situation and then their offensive line situation, it's like, yeah, they have Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins, which I think D-Hop is the best receiver in that league or in that division.
Right.
The Titans, I don't know how I feel about that team. It's like, I think if they do not win their division, there's a good chance that I feel the Titans will look for a different quarterback in this draft or free agency.
I wouldn't blame them for that.
But if I had to go with predictions and records, I would go Colts 9-7.
Okay.
Tied with the Jags at 9-7.
Okay.
It could be a flip flop of whoever wins that tiebreaker. I think it's one of the last games of the season. I think, I'm not sure.
They play each other week 17.
Week 17.
Yep.
Hello?
Yep. They play each other week 17.
Yeah, so whoever wins that game, I honestly think wins the division.
the Texans, it all depends on their offensive line situation. If they could give Watson time and he doesn't get sacked like 50, 100 times like he was last week or last season, which I think he was the most sacked quarterback last season. I could see them going 8-8.
Yep.
And the Titans, I see them going 4-12.
Woo! Not that bad, BE.
They're not that bad. Like, yeah, they have talent, but it's just like they haven't been able to really showcase it to their full potential.
Yikes. Wow, 4-12. Yikes. Okay. So when you look at this division of the 4 teams, do any of these teams strike you as a Super Bowl contending team?
You said Super Bowl contender?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
As talented as, like, if I had to pick out of any of these teams, they have a chance to make a run, it would be the Colts, but I just don't think they're there yet.
Okay.
Like, they have pieces. I like the Quinn and Nelson pick from 2 years or last off season. I think it was a middle. Their linebacker. I can't think of his name.
Which team?
So it's like they have talent, but I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender yet.
Who you talking about? The Colts?
The Jags could be there in a few years.
Okay. Who are you talking about? Linebacker? You talking about Darius Leonard?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, they putting together some stuff
there, but I don't think with how good teams are in the AFC, I just don't think they're a Super Bowl contender yet. They're a playoff team, no doubt about it, but I don't know about Super Bowl contenders just yet.
Gotcha. I totally get it. Totally get it, man. Hey, BE, glad you were able to make it in and settle in, man. Get something to eat, relax, kick back, and join the stream, man. Get in that chat.
I have my Takis and Dr. Pepper.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about, man. I got my cherries over here. Hey, be easy, man.
You too.
Yep. All right. Hey, big shout out to Sports Fury, man. I don't know if they're still in the chat discussion or not, but they did drop by, and those are my guys over there, man. Josh and Sean, they do a hell of a job, man. And hey, I gotta throw them a huge shout out, man. So if y'all out there watching, if you're not, either way, man, big ups to y'all for doing y'all thing over there, and hopefully we can collab at sometime in the near future for sure. And they say hit that like button. Damn right, hit the like button if you're there. Ricky L says we need another video with the Sports Fury, like ASAP. Hey, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. Colts fan says the Texans are consistently one of the most overrated defenses in the league. I think we're gonna see them kind of fall flat defensively this year with all the changes they've made on that side of the ball. Got a call. Go ahead and take it. You're on live with your man Louie T. Who am I speaking with?
It's your boy Nick. What's good, Lou?
Nick at night. What's going on, bro?
Not much, just chilling. I got the Colts winning the division at 10-6. I feel like honestly, I still don't think their O-line is that good. I just think because they got Quentin Nelson, it makes them look good. Like outside of him, like they still ain't that great. But
I think Ryan Kelly's pretty good.
The center?
Yeah, out of Alabama.
Yeah, he's straight.
I think their line is good. It's not great. I think people overrate it a bit. They got a lot of young guys up there though. I do like that. I actually really like the young kid out of Alabama, Braden Smith too. I like the fact that they got a young line and I think they can grow together, man. I actually like the line. They're young.
I thought Marlon Mack had a damn good season last year. I don't know if he has that good of a season again, but he had almost like 1,000 yards and like I think he had like 5 or 6 touchdowns. I don't know if he plays that good again.
Hey, look, man, I'm a Marlon Mack fan. I was a huge fan of his at South Florida. I think this guy has immense potential, and I actually like a lot of their backs. I even like the kid out of Ole Miss that they had as well. Like, I like a lot of what Chris Ballard has done in the draft over the last 3 years or so. So ever since he's come in, it's totally changed this organization, and it's given them a chance to win. And I think they got some talent on their team. I wasn't the biggest fan of this past year's draft, but he can prove me wrong.
I thought the Rocky Sin pick was nice. I like Rocky Sin.
Oh, I love Rocky Sin. That was my favorite pick of their draft. For sure. You know, they trade out of the first round, and the first guy they snagged in the second round was Rocky Sin.
Yeah, that boy is nice.
I like him. I'm a huge Rocky Sin fan. I wasn't a huge Ben Banagoo fan, and I didn't like the selection of him, where they selected him. And I think that the kid out of Ohio State, though, Parrish Campbell, man, he got a chance to be really good.
He quick.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I thought they made some questionable picks as you moved on into that draft. EJ Speed and some of the other guys I wasn't a big fan of.
I think they got the best tight end in the division too. Like Jack Doyle's nice, but he can't stay healthy either. He always gets to miss he'll play 6 games around there, and he'll miss a shit ton of games.
Yeah, you said they got the best tight end in the division.
I'm trying to think who else is in the. Well, Delaney Walker is good too, but he's always hurt too.
Yeah. If he's healthy, he's the best in the division.
Yeah. Well, I got so I got them going 10-6. I got the Jags going 9-7. Like I was saying before, I think they got the best all around team, but I just don't like their offense because I don't see how they're scoring a lot of points. Their defense will hold teams to probably 17, 18 around there. Mm-hmm. As long as they can score more than that, I just don't see where they're getting the points from.
It's a team game, baby. If that defense is as dominant as we think, they're going to create some turnovers. They're going to score on defense a couple of times.
That one DN they got that. I don't know how the hell to say that guy's
Yannick Ngakoue.
The one with the, you know what I'm talking about?
Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah. That dude's a beast.
Yeah, that's my guy. They got to ante up and pay that young man. He came to camp. He going to ball out again this year. They ain't going to have no choice but to pay him.
He's about to cash out, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
But you was trying to tell me their tight end core is not that bad. They're starting a tight end, isn't it the James O'Shaughnessy or whatever the hell his name is?
I could have sworn they drafted a tight end that I really liked. Hold on, let me check. I could be wrong.
I was about to say, because it was James O'Shaughnessy.
Yeah. Nah, if it's James O'Shaughnessy, then yeah, it's because MJ came on and was like, "Yo, they tight ends are super trash." So he had me doubt myself for a second.
I was looking him up before, but I only saw the first 2 names, and the second guy I was like, I don't even know who the hell this is, but I know James O'Shaughnessy is cheap.
All right, I'm gonna check they draft picks from 2019. If they didn't draft the tight end, then you're probably right. I thought they drafted a tight end, and I was like, oh, that's a pretty good pickup.
They might have. I don't know.
Let me see. They drafted Josh Oliver, man, from San Jose State.
Yeah. He's straight.
Yeah. So I thought they drafted a tight end that I really liked, and I was like, okay, he's gonna help out a lot. So I think they'll be fine at tight end.
Yeah, I got them going 9-7, but I honestly could see them having the 10-6 record if Andrew Luck don't stay healthy, because I can see that it's close. If he don't stay healthy, they're only going to win about 6 games.
Right. I feel you on that.
For me, it's between them 2 teams. But I had the Texans going 7-9.
Yep.
They got that. I don't like their defense, but I do like Bradley Roby. Bradley Roby is nice, and I think Justin Reed's pretty good too.
I think Justin Reed is really good, but.
Yeah, obviously they need to figure out what the hell they're doing with Clowney, but they definitely need to pay him. I don't see how you don't think he deserves to get paid.
Look, I got my doubts about Clowney, and I understand. Here's the 2 things. Clowney has never had a dominant season where he's had 12 sacks. So they're looking at.
A lot of times he's getting doubled up though, so
right.
He'll make plays for somebody else.
I know, and again, I get that. I'm just giving you from their perspective what they're trying to use as leverage. They're saying you've never had a dominant year. Because, they're saying, look, you want to get broken off like some of these dudes that's out here putting up numbers. You're not putting up numbers. And they're saying, we don't know if you're going to work as hard if you get paid. If we pay you this money, are you going to be the same dude?
I get their mindset where they're coming from on that. I feel like if he balls out this year, they're going to have to pay him even more than what they would have had to pay him before, though.
I think they're gonna trade him. I can't see a situation where he plays for them this year. Because I think
I wasn't a fan of their first round pick though. I didn't think Titus Howard was a first round pick.
He wasn't, and Max Scarpering wasn't a great second round pick either.
Yeah,
I thought their draft was just
it was
ass.
kind of trash.
It was ass, really.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it.
So
I got the Titans going 5-11.
Okay. Well, shit, your picks ain't that far off from mine. You got the
I
Texans
hate-
being one game better and the
Mariota
Titans being
trash.
one game less.
I hate Mariota. I think Corey Davis is gonna ball out though, and of course
Man,
Derrick Henry's good.
He was
Like, they
coming
got
on
pieces
last
on the
year.
defense, but to me they don't have like that one big guy that stands out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
Jarrell
they
Casey
just-
was
they
that
just
dude
gel
for a
pretty
little
good
while.
together, but they don't have like that one focal piece.
Yeah, Jarrell Casey was that guy for a little while, but they really haven't had that one edge rusher that they needed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking that the Landry kid from Boston College was going to be that, and maybe he will be, but I haven't seen it yet.
Harold Landry.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see. You know, I just haven't seen it from him yet. So, but I thought he was the most pure and natural pass rusher in that year's draft.
I thought they like overpaid Malcolm Butler. I don't think Malcolm Butler's all that nice. Like, he's not bad, but I don't think he's like top elite corner status.
Hey, they the Titans, man. I liken it to my team in the NBA, the Grizzlies. Hey, you got to get dudes when you can get them, because don't nobody really want to come there. You know what I mean? Like, it's the Titans. And
Yeah,
I know money
small
talks.
market teams. Yeah, that's how it be.
Yeah, you know, money talks and all of that good stuff. But at the end of the day, you got to get guys to come there, and it ain't the easiest to get dudes to want to come to Tennessee. So,
Yeah, no doubt.
you know, they saw an opportunity. They snatched away a couple of Patriot players, and we'll see if it works out for them.
I hear you.
Hey, man, as always, man, what would a show be without you blessing the program, UBE and company? What would a show be without y'all blessing the program, man? I appreciate you guys, Nick. Seriously.
No problem, bro.
Hey, have a
Have
good
a good one.
Yep. Colts fan says you got the Colts, the Pats, the Chiefs going to the postseason based on your prediction vids. Does that mean you got 3 teams going to the playoffs from the AFC North? Possibly. And even if I don't, I've got 2 for sure. And there may be a third. We'll see. However, one of these 9-7 teams might get in. I didn't want to just put a 9-7 team in and then go back and have revisionist history. So there's going to be a spot potentially open if 3 don't get in. And then one of those, the Broncos was a 9-7 team. The Jags are a 9-7 team. One of those teams will get in. Got a call, going to go ahead and take it. You're on live with your man, Louie T. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Lou, what's up? This is JP. How's you doing?
What's up, JP? Doing well, man.
I'm doing well. I just got off work. Another slow day, but I'm earning my bread like you told me yesterday. Earn that bread.
Get that bread, baby. That's right.
Yep.
Get it while it's there to be got. So talk to me about the AFC South. What do you see happening?
Well, this is a pretty unpredictable division. Mm-hmm. This was a great division last year, but I don't see it being the case again, to be honest.
Yep.
I do like I'll give you a couple of predictions, and I'll do a little pretty short team-by-team breakdown. Mm-hmm. Then I'll let you get to the other calls. So I'm going to give you my division picks. I'm going to go with Houston. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with Houston 10-6, 11-5. I think that's going to be enough to win them the division.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I think they get I think they're going to be good. I think they have a big bounce back year. I think they get 10. I think they get 10 wins at best.
Yep.
I think that deep. I'm sorry. And then let me think. I'm gonna. The Colts. Mm-hmm. I don't know where to put the Colts, to be honest, because it all depends on the health of Andrew Luck.
Right.
So barring that he misses significant time, if he's ready for the regular season opener, I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna go with them maybe 8-8, 7-9, and I think Titans are gonna win 6 games.
Okay. So you've got the Titans bringing up the rear in 4th place. You've got the Colts because of the uncertainty of Andrew Luck coming in 3rd. You've got the Jaguars having a bounce back year, as do I, at 10-6, and you have the Texans winning division with the same mark they had last year at 11-5.
That's right.
Okay.
I will talk to you a little bit about the Texans.
Okay.
They're a team that I pay attention to quite a little bit, just because of the presence of Deshaun Watson, a guy that I fell in love with in college.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's due for a big season this year. Problem is that offensive line is pretty shaky.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was the most sacked quarterback in the league last year, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right.
But he's talented. The kid's a warrior. I think he's only going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go anywhere but up from this point on. And you look at what they have on offense. I like, to me, DeAndre Hopkins is one of the 3 best wide receivers in the league.
Yeah, fact.
The guy never had a drop last year. The man catches everything. He's got hands like glue for days.
Yeah. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yep. I do think they need. I do like Will Fuller. I think he's a young up and coming talent. The run game is a little bit shaky though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're going to do with that position.
Right.
Lamar Miller was pretty shaky. Has been pretty shaky ever since he got there. I do think they need some help at tight end. But if you give Deshaun Watson the weapons, and you give him a run game, and you give him a decent, he does that a decent to good offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna break records. I think he's gonna be better. And then of course you look on defense. I don't know what's gonna happen with the Clowney situation.
Mm-hmm.
But J.J. Watt, I think is gonna have a big year. To me, he's one of the 5 best defensive linemen in the league. Still, even though he looks shaky, he looks shaky at times coming off the injuries. But the man is a talent. He's a defensive player of the year candidate. I think he's due for a pretty big year. I think I'm looking at a 12, 13, maybe 14 sack season for him.
Okay.
Maybe 15.
He's gonna need it.
I think Clowney. I just don't see a scenario. I want to see Clowney get paid. I want to see him get his money. But it's hard for me to imagine that they're going to pay him, because I listened to your call with Nick at night on the way home from work, saying that he needs to that if you pay him this, if he pay you this money, are you going to work for it? Are you going to prove that are you going to prove to us that you're going to be great because you got this money,
right,
or something like that? I think.
Yeah.
I just don't see a scenario that happens. I think he might get traded. It's a possibility he might get traded before week 1.
Yeah.
And then of course, you have Whitney Merciless on that defensive line, and you have an okay secondary. It's not great.
Yeah.
It's an okay, like I said, it's an okay secondary. I think they still need help in that area. But I still pick them winning division, and of course the Jaguars. You know how great their defense is. I think Jalen Ramsey has a bounce back year as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's another bounce back candidate I have. I think Nick Foles is going. I think if Nick Foles plays well enough, he's going to keep them in ball games.
Yep.
What they have at receiver is pretty questionable, to be honest. There's very raw talent at that receiver position, and of course the Jags' offensive line has to be better. And then the Colts, like I said before, the status of Andrew Luck is very much up in the air at this point.
Right.
Coming off with the injury he had to his calf, does the name Kevin Durant come to mind?
Well, they said it was his calf, and then it worked its way down to his ankle. We really don't know what the hell's going on. They say it's not as Achilles.
I really don't want to see this guy miss an entire season with injury. Again, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think this is as bad as it was in 2017 when we missed that whole year, and
right.
The Colts were like picking in I think the top 10 of the draft. I think they were one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
That year.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see that being the case. I do like you said, I do like Marlon Mack. I do like T.Y. Hilton. I think Eric Ebron has had a career had a career year last year at tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Their offensive line is great. Was pretty good with Quentin Nelson at the guard, just mashing people left and right.
Yeah.
Their offensive line is good. Then the defense is pretty questionable. They do have pieces, but to me they don't have a true edge presence coming off the J.J. Watt or someone like that on defense. And in the Titans, I think this is a make-or-break year for Marcus Mariota. I think he's due. I think just like Jameis Winston in the NFC South, I think Mariota has to have a good season, or else they're going to be, because if he doesn't, if he has another shaky year, they're going to be looking in the draft. They're going to be looking in the draft for a quarterback, and there are some good quarterbacks in this year's draft.
Yeah,
there's a good possibility that they like maybe Herbert or Jake Fromm, or they're not going to get Tua, obviously. But again, like I said, Mariota has to have a good year. He has to be good enough to win them games.
Right.
And I think Corey Davis is another breakout candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive line.
Yeah.
I'm mad about the offensive line. I do like what they have on offense. As you know, I love Derrick Henry. Thought he was a great second round pick coming out of college. He started off slow in his career, but now I think he's starting to catch on. I think he showed some tremendous skill in the second half of the season. I thought he was great.
Mm-hmm.
It's only going to get better from here. And of course, and then you got some pieces on defense. I think when they took, what was the kid they took last year? Jeffrey Simmons from Mississippi State. I think he's going to be good when he gets ready. When he eventually gets on the field.
Right.
I like Jarrell Casey.
Mm-hmm.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know how I feel about Malcolm Butler. How did you feel about Malcolm Butler last year?
I think Nick said it best. I don't think he's all that, but like I told Nick, I mean, it's Tennessee. Not many guys are coming to Tennessee to play football, in free agency. So, you got some money to spend, and you find a guy to spend it on, and he wants to come. More power to him, but I don't think he's an elite corner. He's not the best corner on their team. I think he is one of those guys that you can get by with in this league, but he's not an elite player by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Ever since he left New England, he's been pretty bad at best. I do like Kevin Byard though. I think that kid is I think it's safety, right? He's
correct.
I think he's a rising young star at safety.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I agree with you on him. I was a big fan of his at Middle Tennessee. So he's just come in and continued to do what he did in college. It's just been a continuation of that. He was a turnover machine in college, and he's brought that same attitude and mindset to the NFL, and it's translated for him big time.
That's what you like to see from a young safety. You want to see how quickly they can make that transition to the NFL, and Kevin Byard has done that.
Yeah.
But the Titans, I think the Titans are still a little meh on defense. I think they need I think, like you said on the call with Nick at night, they need a true edge rushing presence. They may need two edge rushers. I don't know when they're going to get that. They might get it this year, but they definitely need. The defense is okay. I don't think it's there yet. It's definitely up and coming. There's some talent there, but I like it. But again, they need edge rushing. They need guys rushing the quarterbacks. Can't get by with just stopping the run in the NFL. You got to have balanced defense on the line.
Agreed. So you've got this division. Texans 1. You got the Jags 2. You got the Colts 3, and you got the Titans 4.
Yep.
My man. All right, JP. Appreciate you, man. You
All
have a good one.
Lou.
Yep.
You'll probably see me on the NFC North call. I don't know when that is, but I'll definitely make an appearance for that one.
Well, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow when we watch the preseason game.
Oh, you'll see me. You'll definitely see me.
Oh, good. Glad to hear that. Take care, man.
All right, thanks.
Yep. All right, so JP, still high on the Texans. I'm not mad at him. I'm not glad at him, but I'm not mad at him. Think the Texans could be the team that proves me wrong. And 11 is high for me in this division this year. I think 10 is going to be the magic number, but it wouldn't shock me if somebody got to 11. I just don't see it happening. So, in any event, got a call, going to go ahead and take it. You're on live with your man, Louie T. Who am I speaking with?
Mack.
What's up, Sean Mack?
Busy day.
Oh hell, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and put up the cross right now because I know he's the bearer of bad news. Who's getting hurt tonight, man?
Who's getting hurt tonight? Well, I'd say I told you so, but Andrew Luck. He's always hurt, man.
Oh hell, here we go.
And that started before I even said anything public.
Hey, I will not go for the Andrew Luck injury slander tonight. I won't have it.
Facts are facts.
Hey, Andrew's gonna play at least 12 games this year. Once he gets in the lineup, he'll be healthy. I feel good saying that.
Which means he misses 4.
Yeah, well,
means they go 1-3 at best.
If they go 1-3 in that stretch, 2-2, they'll be fine. Even if they go 1-3, I think they'll be fine. Come back and help them win some ball games, and they can get hot. They got hot last year. They can do it again this year.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep.
But I'm not holding my breath with Andrew Luck. You never know what the hell's going to happen to that guy.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
All right, so here's how I have it going. I got the Texans winning the division at 10-6.
Okay.
I have them completely sweeping the division, 6-0.
Woo.
They win everything. I have Tennessee finishing second at 10-6, going 3-3 in the division.
Okay.
Houston gets the tiebreaker there, which
Right.
gets them the 4 seed.
Okay.
Then I have the Colts going 8-8, and I have Jacksonville going 6-10.
Okay.
I don't think Foles is a starting quarterback in the NFL.
We're gonna find out. I've always told people that Nicholas Foles is Nicholas Foles, and every week I would wipe more egg off of my face. And everyone that I said, look, man, it's Nicholas Foles. Don't you remember what he did in St. Louis with the Rams? And they say, don't you remember who his damn head coach was? Jeff Fisher? I'm like, you got a good ass point there. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I am giving him the benefit. I'm giving him the benefit. All right. Now, we'll see what happens. He's got his offensive coordinator with him. All right. From Philadelphia. So you're thinking that shit should be good for him. And I don't love the weaponry around him. I don't. I think that their receivers are awful. Might be the worst collection of receivers in the league. But we will see. I think that if they can run the football, he'll take those receivers and make them viable enough. And that defense is going to be elite, I believe. And I think they'll be fine. We'll see.
Well, a lot of it's going to depend on how Fournette comes back from his injury.
Yep.
Last year.
And
Mark
where his head
Andrews
is,
not a
too.
bad wide receiver.
But
He's
I'll tell you what.
Conley from Georgia, I liked him.
I tell you what. They did themselves a huge solid by drafting Raquel Armstead, too. Just in case he wants to trip. It's not like last year where you're like, shit, we got TJ Yeldon and nothing else. We in trouble. This year, and they tried to go get Carlos Hyde, and it just didn't work. I actually thought that was going to be a good fit for them, and it didn't work. So they drafted Raquel Armstead. They're like, yo, go ahead and trip if you want to this year. We got us a nice quality back that we feel good about. So I like the fact that they got some extra stuff just in case Leonard Fournette wants to trip this year.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Fournette coming out. I like Dalvin Cook ahead of him.
How's that working out for Minnesota?
Yeah. Injury bug.
Uh-huh. So, we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. But I'm not buying the Texans this year. I'm not a Bill O'Brien fan. I didn't like their draft. I don't think their offensive line is any good. Not that stopped them last year, but you can't keep getting by like that and thinking you're going to keep winning. And to make matters worse, I don't think their defense is elite anymore. Like they had too many changes in the offseason. Now you dismissing Clowney like he wasn't a big part of your defense. Okay, let's find out how good you are.
He's overrated.
He may be that, but
He's overrated in South Carolina too.
He may be that as well, and he may have been that as well. However, he was the best they had. Outside of Watt, there was no one better on that defense. No one else you had to circle on that defense and say, hey, we need to account for this guy. Now, you call him what you want. Now I know going into every game, double team 99 and let the rest of them have one-on-one matchups and have at it. I don't think another dude on that defense can hurt me in the front seven. I don't.
I like Zach Cunningham. I like their linebacker.
He's not a pass rusher. Who's getting to the quarterback?
Nice. which will stop stuff.
Who's getting?
Maybe this is finally the year that Merciless gets his act together.
Good luck with that. That man ghosted us last year. I'm still looking for him on the milk carton. We'll see. I'm just not feeling the Texans this year. You got the Titans going 6-10. You trust in Marcus Mariota that much?
No, I trust Mike Vrabel that much.
I guess.
That's not my Buckeye homerism there. That's just I trust him more.
Okay.
I trust what he can do as a head coach.
I hear you, bro. I ain't never seen a head coach personally go out on the field and win a game, though. I ain't never seen that done.
Yeah, Vrabel's a freak. He can do it. He could go in there and play right now.
I'm pretty sure he could. That ain't gonna win him a game. That ain't gonna win him games on Sunday, though. He need players to step up and make plays. And if you telling me,
I think Ryan Tannehill sitting is going to relax him behind Marcus Mariota.
Mm-hmm.
And when Mariota goes down, because
it's going to happen, I'm with you.
Which he does.
Yep.
Tannehill will be a lot more relaxed, come and play a lot more looser because you could tell he was pushing things.
Okay. You know what? That's actually not a bad take because I don't think Tannehill is that awful like people think. And there were times in Miami where he got on a little bit of a roll and he would play well and they would win football games. I remember the first year of what's the dude in New York now? What's the coach over there? The crazy.
Adam Gase.
Yeah, Adam Gase. First year Gase in Miami. Hey, Tannehill had it going. Then he got hurt at the end of the year and Matt Moore came in and they still made the playoffs. So I've seen Tannehill play at a high enough level to warrant him being a marginal starter in this league. So that's not a bad take. We'll see. I too think Mike Vrabel is actually a really good head coach. So I don't necessarily disagree with that assessment. I don't trust in Marcus Mariota, and to a lesser degree, I don't trust in Ryan Tannehill either. So we'll see what happens. All right.
I just don't trust Mariota.
All right.
So it might not be seasoned, but he's always bouncing in and out throughout the whole year. So,
is this his last year in Tennessee?
Yes.
I think so, too.
I think Tennessee, if they do what I think they're going to do, I think they're going to trade up. And I think they go after Justin Hubert from Oregon.
2 Oregon quarterbacks in a row, man.
I believe.
We'll see. You strike out of Oregon once. I don't know if you want to go back to the well again, but we'll see. You know how college football is, man. We rate these quarterbacks high, and then the season happens, and we go, yo, what the hell happened to that guy?
Yeah, and there's always a quarterback that comes.
I don't know. I already told y'all who the quarterback is. Book it. Jordan Love. I'm telling anybody that'll listen. Jordan Love at Utah State. You're not hearing about him? I'm telling you about him. The dude is a beast, and he will be a top 5 pick in next year's draft. If you haven't heard it, you heard it here first. But anyway.
I'll feel from out.
All right, man. Hey, Sean Mack, like I told my man Nick, and I told BE, I don't know if I told BE or not, what would a program be without you guys chiming in, man? It just wouldn't be the same. Appreciate you, man.
All right. Love you and the family.
Hey, likewise.
Bye.
All right. Sports Fury said he was still here. Again, I don't know if he's still here or not, but hey, man, I really appreciate it. He said, still here, Louie T. Appreciate the shout out. Love your work as always. Can't wait to work together again, bro. Me either, man. Had a blast doing it last year. Can't wait to do it again. Ricky L says, Clowney for Trent Williams, ? Look, I did a video saying that I would do it if I were the Redskins, but here's the thing. You got to pay him. I don't think the Redskins are looking to pay Jadeveon Clowney the type of money he's asking for, especially when you got guys on your roster that are going to be due some money here shortly. Got to take care of your own first. And I just don't see the Redskins being that aggressive in paying a guy like Jadeveon Clowney the kind of money that he's going to command. And so that's a pipe dream. I won't allow myself to fall into the trap, but man, envisioning that Redskins front seven, adding a guy like Clowney, that would be a lot of fun to watch. You're on live with your man Louie T. Who am I speaking with?
Q-Bone.
What up, Q-Bone?
What's up, Lou?
How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing as good as I can be, I suppose.
Great, man. I'm glad to hear that. So talk to me about the AFC South.
Oh man, AFC South. Well, despite the injury concerns with Andrew Luck, I still feel like the Colts are probably going to win this division.
Me too.
I'm still a big fan of the Texans, so I do think they're going to take a slight step back.
Okay.
Fun fact about the Texans, I share the same birthday with Deshaun Watson.
Which is?
Little known fact.
Which is?
And
What day is that?
Tennessee,
What day is that? Cubo.
Yeah.
What day is that?
Oh, the 14th.
Of?
September.
Okay, gotcha. Cool beans.
Sorry about that.
All right. No, you're good.
And then Tennessee, not too big of a fan of them. Wouldn't be surprised if they were at the bottom of this division. But the team I do have at the bottom is Jacksonville.
Okay.
I do not trust Nick Foles. You know this. I am a Rams fan.
A scorned Rams fan. You know what? I've heard people tell me, and I used to say, hey, look, man, Nicholas Foles is Nicholas Foles. You can't trust Nicholas Foles. However, people have said, do you remember who his coach was? And I said, oh, yeah. It was
Yeah, but
Jeff
let me ask you
Fisher.
this.
Yeah.
Who was his coach in 2012, his rookie year, and the same coach in 2016?
I don't know. Was it Chip Kelly?
Andy Reid.
And Andy Reid. Okay. Oh yeah, because he went to the
Kansas
Chiefs.
City.
Yeah, he went to the Chiefs. That's right.
And he didn't, and he started, I think, 2 games there in place of Alex Smith. He was all right. He didn't do anything special though.
He didn't lose them games though. They were in ball games. They won the games. He wasn't bad.
I don't think it's like what he did in Philadelphia though.
Nah, not really. But again, he doesn't have to be. He don't have to be BDN at in Jacksonville. He just has to steady the ship. If that defense is what we think it's going to be, he doesn't have to be BDN. He just got to go in there and be good. Not great, just good.
You know, I had that same mindset when he came to St. Louis.
Do you remember that first game against the Seahawks? He was good in that game.
Do not remind me of that. That's Foles gold, I tell you. Not Foles gold.
I was waiting on it.
Gold.
I was waiting on it. There it is. Oh, the good times. Oh, the good times.
But Jacksonville does have a really good defense, though. Despite, Telvin Smith not going to be playing this year, I still really think that defense is the best in this division. And if they do win games, just like, with the Jets,
right,
it's going to be with that defense.
Yeah, I agree.
And who knows? Maybe Nick Foles can prove me wrong. I would be happy to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
I've always been a big fan of Jacksonville, but I'm not buying into it this year. I'm staying away from that green and black and yellow color scheme Kool-Aid.
I got you.
I'm staying away from it.
So you said you got the Colts winning this division.
Yep.
As do I. You have the Texans in second.
Yeah. Followed by Tennessee and then Jacksonville.
Okay. What do you have the Texans going?
8-8.
Okay.
I feel like they're an 8-8 club.
Because you said they were going to take a little bit of a step backwards. So 8-8.
A little bit of a step back.
Okay. That sounds about right. Okay.
I think
cool.
they'll still be kind of good, but not good enough to get a playoff spot.
Good. Okay. I got you. I feel the same way. I don't know. Like I said on my video, one of those two teams that I had going 6-10, the Titans or the Texans, are probably going to end up being actually good football teams this year. A good football team. I don't know which one. So it could be the Titans. I actually am a huge Mike Vrabel fan. I think he's actually a really good head coach.
I think he's a pretty good coach.
Yeah, versus Bill O'Brien, who I'm not a fan of. So we'll see. Deshaun Watson obviously is the better quarterback of those two teams. So if you're going off of that, then the edge goes to the Texans. And all he's done since he's gotten in the league is win. So we'll see. We will see. Hey, Q, man. Awesome call, bro. Awesome call. Always good to go down memory lane with you, man.
Oh, geez. Yeah. I don't forget very often about those.
Hey, you have a good one, man.
Very often.
Have a good night.
But I do want to point out one more thing, though.
Sure. Knock your stuff out.
I missed your other things before, so I want to give out, what I think is going to win those divisions real quick.
Sure.
Give me Carolina in the NFC South and Kansas City in the AFC West.
Okay. And what about NFC East?
Oh, the East? Ooh, that's a good one. Philly.
Okay.
Give me the Eagles.
That's the safe pick. No problem with that at all.
Yeah.
Have a good one, man.
All right, you too.
Likewise. All righty. That's my man Q, man. On Q. So, Colts fan, and let me say this. As I just took a look at this comment, my man JP said the Colts don't have anybody coming off the edge. Kamiko Toure is a guy that bears mentioning out of Rutgers. I saw him do some things last year that were very impressive, including beating Jason Peters off the edge around the corner for a sack. If you remember, early in the season, as a matter of fact, I think it was week 3, the Colts came to Washington week 2, beat us up pretty good, dominated us in our building, and the following week they went to Philly. And they had the Eagles on the ropes and let them off the hook. And in that game, Kamiko Toure was dominant. Also, a guy that I love, Margus Hunt, was dominant in that game as well. They've got some stuff, do the Indianapolis Colts, that I like on that defense. And Toure is a guy that you shouldn't be sleeping on. Now, I'm not saying he's elite, but he's got elite traits. He puts that stuff together. He puts them all together. I'm just saying. Let me read this comment now. Colts fan says, people are sleeping on my boys, Kamiko Toure and Tyquan Lewis. They're going to be beasts this year. I don't know about Tyquan Lewis. All right. You could talk to my man Sean Mack about that. He's an Ohio State guy. But I can tell you about Toure, and he to me looks the part. Okay, for sure. Continuing on, my man Reese says, "What up, Lou? My Bucks picked up Emmanuel Hall off of waivers from the Bears. Did you evaluate him? Is he any good? Yes and yes." Now, a lot of people think he's a one-trick pony out of Missouri, and my man Q can probably attest to that. He was the guy that Drew Lock was throwing a bunch of deep balls to, and he was running under him and catching them. His problem is staying healthy. He's a big guy, kind of a slight frame, even though he's right around 200 pounds, but he's often injured. But the guy can fly, he can run, and he can catch the football really, really far down the field. So he does bring that element to the table. He's not a complete receiver right now, but if you're looking for a guy to stretch the football field vertically, Emmanuel Hall is your man. Ricky L says, y'all better leave my man BDN alone. I will not accept the disrespect. He is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Oh, you were talking about Nick at Night sucks, not Nick Foles. Okay. I had to clarify that because I'm like, you disrespecting Nicholas Foles after what he's done for you? So, okay, that makes a lot more sense. Nick Riley says, Joe Mixon was my guy. I think he's better than both Dalvin Cook and Leonard Fournette. He's been healthier and he's been more productive than both of those guys. I can't disagree with that. And he's more versatile than both of those dudes because Joe can catch it out of the backfield as well. I think Joe is poised for a breakout season, but it's going to go unnoticed and it's going to fall on deaf ears. No one's going to hear what he's doing. No one's going to see what he's doing because it's out there in Cincinnati and there's not a lot of expectations for the Bengals in 2019. Ansley Chance says, hey, Louie, how long before the Skins have a winning season? Things have to change in Washington. Every organization in the league is due for a lucky season. Every about 4 years or so, you get a lucky season. I think ours was last year until it became unlucky with the injury to Alex Smith. Everything was going our way. We had games where we gave up 500 yards to the Buccaneers and they only scored 3 points. Like, you win games like that where you get dominated and you still win, you're supposed to find a way to make it to the postseason, and we just weren't able to take advantage of that. I think things have to change. We probably got to get a new head coach. Bruce Allen probably needs to get the hell out of town. But I can tell you this. If we get lucky with Dwayne Haskins, shit could change. And that's the one saving grace, and that's the thing you got to hope for if you're a Redskins fan. Anyway, continuing on. Sean Mack says, you cannot trust Nick Foles for more than 4 or 5 games. We will see. JP, y'all laughing at my man, Q-Bones, Foles Gold. I used to say that all the time when I would watch his videos. I loved it. Q-Bone is hilarious. Anyway, JP says, would you like the Skins to go out and get Jadeveon Clowney? I would likely would give the Texans Trent Williams in a first or a fourth for Clowney, a first and a 20th and a 6th in 2020 and a second in 2021. I don't know. I don't know what exactly the compensation would have to be going in what direction, because I personally think that if the Texans don't believe Clowney is elite, why would I give them extra compensation? You don't even believe in him. Why would I give you extra compensation for him? If I'm trading you an all-pro tackle, yes, he's 31 years old, and the guy that I'm getting in return is a young guy going into the prime of his career. You don't think he's elite, so why would I trade you extra assets? I don't buy that one bit. You don't want to pay him, but I'm going to pay him, but you don't think he's elite, so why would I give you more assets? I just don't know. That's a tough situation. But I did a video earlier. Ricky L says, 38-7, 41-33, all I'm saying. You get no complaints out of me, bro, at all. Reese says, the Colts, Lou, are just painful to watch. They just bore the hell out of me. I can't watch one of their games all the way through. A lot of people feel that way about this division in general. I'm a football freak. I'm a fanatic. I'm a professional football watcher. It's what I do. So I don't have a problem watching this division. But there have been times, this is about 4 years ago, where you put Jags Titans on when the Titans were awful and the Jags were the worst team in football, or one of the worst teams, and it was 13-10. Man, I would fall asleep watching that game 9 times. I would literally watch the same 6 plays and fall asleep 18 times, and have to watch that game a total of 22 times before I could get through the whole thing. Those days are gone, though. These teams are better. It's a better brand of football, so I don't have that problem anymore. Reese says, oh, got a call, gonna go ahead and take it. Sorry, I've been ignoring the phone lines. I apologize. You're on live with your man, Louie T. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, this is Havoc calling in, Titans fan right here.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Pretty good. I'm a little surprised. I mean, I just look at matchups that people aren't looking at. I mean, yeah, Jacksonville has a good defense, but that defense has been shredded by Tennessee's run game. It's the same defense that Atlanta runs, and I don't think that's a good matchup for Atlanta either.
Yeah.
And people forget that the Ravens' defensive coordinator is our defensive coordinator now, and we're going into year 2 of his system.
Yeah, I think when you look at the Jaguars and some of their struggles last season, I think a lot of that had to do with, and I've watched it firsthand. I'm a Redskins fan, and I watched the way that the lack of offensive efficiency affected a defense that was really effective for the early part of the season. And when you start to look at your offense and you realize, if we don't pitch a shutout today, we're going to lose. If we don't force turnovers, if we don't go for the jugular, we're going to lose. And so you get guys playing hero ball. You get guys out of gaps, and you get guys trying to make plays that they shouldn't try to make. Instead of playing team ball, now everyone's out for self because everyone's trying to make the play that changes the game. And you didn't see that 2 years ago. You saw everybody doing their job. You see guys making plays, but everyone feeding off of one another. I think they're going to get back to that this year because they have a quarterback that they feel like gives them a chance each and every single week. But to your point, the Titans have to play team defense because they don't have elite defenders off the edge. So similar to Baltimore. Baltimore had Terrell Suggs at 87 years old. So they had to manufacture pressure by blitzing and having exotic schemes and looks behind, zone coverage because they didn't have an elite rusher. And I feel the same way about the Titans. I actually thought that Harold Landry was going to be that guy. I haven't really seen it yet. I'm not counting him out. Light bulb could come on in year 3 for him, but I thought that he would have been a little bit more dominant this portion of his career. But I think when you get the kid you drafted out of Mississippi State, and he's able to be healthy, I think you got a find there. You got a steal there, and he's going to help your defense. But when I look at the Titans, I look at a football team that they're not elite at one trait on any side of the football. I think that Corey Davis has a chance to be elite. I think I saw flashes of a guy that looked like a top 10 pick last year. You look at the quarterback position, question marks galore there. You look at the running back position. The inconsistency is what scares me, because Derrick Henry could get 27 carries this week, and next week he can get 16. So I'd always struggle with that. And I love Deion Lewis. So I know if you give it to Henry 27 times, it's going to take away from touches from Deion Lewis. So I know there's a little bit of give and take there, but I just feel like you got to find the right balance with those two, because they feed off of each other, I think, and are great complements to one another. There's some stuff in Tennessee. Go ahead.
Yeah, I understand that, but actually Harold Landry is a sophomore. He was a rookie last year.
Okay, sorry. So I thought
the pass rusher.
Yeah.
And with the defense, I'm looking at more about Jacksonville's defense, Atlanta's defense, and Seattle's defense is designed to stop modern offenses. Right. It is not designed to stop a big physical line that will power run up your gut. They don't have the linebackers for it. Right. That's why 2 seasons ago Seattle got embarrassed. That's why even with the AFC Championship, Jacksonville got embarrassed at Jacksonville. And then last year at Tennessee. I just look at certain matchups, and that's why we always beat Jacksonville. We swept Jacksonville 2 years in a row.
Yeah, those are the defenses that are geared more towards speed. And those are the defenses that are a little light. I mean, Telvin Smith is a perfect example. 215, 220-pound inside linebacker. He can run, like lightning, but he's light in the pants. So, yeah, you can move him around. Your guard gets to the second level and he sees Telvin Smith. He should be licking his chops. Now, that's what they just drafted a guy named Quincy Williams. He's a little bit bigger than a Telvin Smith, but has the same kind of athleticism. That's what they do, though. They draft guys that fit that scheme, similar to what you said, like Atlanta. They have the same scheme. Gus Bradley, that same kind of influence that you've seen from Seattle. All of those guys kind of come from that same tree, and that's the kind of defense that they run. You're going to have teams that are just bad matchups. Styles make fights. Some teams are bad matchups for other teams, but when it's all said and done, I think Jacksonville defense, it matches up with most teams in the league. And so that's why I think they have a legitimate shot at being good this year. I do.
And I think they might be better, but I still think they're going to get swept by the Titans. They're just an awful matchup against the Titans.
Yeah, like I said, if the Titans are going to be a smash mouth team, and sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. If they're going to be a smash mouth team, they're going to give certain teams problems, because a lot of teams aren't equipped to deal with teams coming downhill at them for 4 quarters. Like you said, the NFL is more of a passing league. It's more of a wide open league where you're looking to have as much speed on the field as possible. That's not conducive to stopping the run a lot of times. So if you tell a team we're going to line up and we're going to pound you, and they don't have the personnel to stop that, it could be a long day for them. And sometimes you find, I felt like that was the situation with Denver a lot last year. They were a really light team. Teams grounded them into oblivion, and it hurt them at times last year. They couldn't stop the run. It's like that sometimes. You have to sacrifice certain things in this league in order to have success. Sometimes you got to trade off power for speed. Sometimes you got to trade off, speed for power. It goes both ways.
Yeah, and I'll leave on this one note. I think the biggest upset late in the year is going to be Tennessee is going to beat the Saints, because it's December 23rd outdoors in Nashville. I don't think that's a good matchup for the Saints either.
I wouldn't doubt that. I've always said my problem with the Titans is that they play up to the level of competition and they play down to the level of competition. They get juiced for teams like that come into Nashville. We saw it last year with New England. We saw them go into Dallas last year, even though Dallas wasn't that good of a team at the time. Still went in there and stomped a mud hole in them. we've seen them raise their level of play, and then we've also seen them wet the bed like they did against Baltimore at home or on the road versus Buffalo last year. You just don't know what you're going to get from them week to week, but that's an intriguing game. We don't know how good the Saints are going to be that time of the year. If they're a good football team, I could easily see them getting humbled at the end of the season. We saw it happen to the Saints last year at Dallas. I could see it happening at Tennessee next year. So
that's true. And I guess the very last thing is that Mariota put on 15 pounds in the offseason. So he might stay throughout the whole season this year.
I'm rooting for him. I really am. He's a good dude, and I know he's got talent. I want to see it consistently. That's my biggest issue with him. It's consistency. Staying healthy and consistency. And he's got to prove himself. Let me ask you this. I meant to ask MJ this when he was on the line. What do you think about Marcus Mariota, and if he does not stay healthy or isn't as consistent this year? Is this his last year in Tennessee?
I mean, most likely, unless he takes a team-friendly deal. I look at it this way. He played through a ton of injuries. There was a hidden injury report that got leaked that he actually played with a cracked vertebrae, too, that was never confirmed. So and had torn plantar. So apparently he had, like, multiple injuries they weren't even, like, disclosing. The other thing is I think what's going to keep him healthier this year is if Delaney Walker's healthy and finally having a solid route running, catch the ball slot receiver in Adam Humphries.
Yeah. I think he's going to make a huge difference for that offense because Humphries was so good for Tampa. I think he was so underrated in Tampa. And getting a guy to go alongside Corey Davis because I think they've missed on a couple of guys in Tennessee at receiver. I thought Taywan Taylor would be better than what he's been. That was
catch the ball.
Yeah, he's been such a disappointment. And so getting a reliable hands guy like Humphrey, like you said, that's a machine. He's a technician in the slot that can catch the football, a reliable guy. I think Mariota does his best work in between the hashes, over the middle of the football field. I think his best throws are over the middle of the field. So I think he's going to do work with, as you mentioned, a healthy Delaney Walker and Adam Humphries coming in. That could do wonders for him as well. So if he doesn't take a team-friendly deal and doesn't have a great season, he's gone.
Yeah, I agree with that. He'll be gone if that's the case. But I will say, I've had friends of mine who were Patriots fans, and a couple of them have said, go ahead, cut Mariota, watch Belichick pick him up and win a few more Super Bowls with him and give him a consistent system since he's had a different coordinator every year.
I wouldn't doubt that. That would be the last place I would want him to end up because that's exactly what would happen. They'd sign him. He'd be there. He'd learn behind Tom Brady for another year or two, and then he'd be able to carry on the tradition in New England for the next 8-9 years. I'd hate to see that happen. I really would.
Yeah, he's only 25.
Yeah, he's a young guy, man. That's why I said I'd like to see him stay healthy and be consistent. But anyway, before you go, I'm not going to let you go on that note. What do you think is going to happen in this division?
When I look at the matchups and I looked at the schedule, I think Indy's probably going to win the division, but I think they're going to be fighting Tennessee only because most of Tennessee's tough games are at home. Kansas City is at home. The Chargers are at home.
Yep.
The Saints are at home. And then Houston, if you look at, there's a few guys who look at more than just regular win percentage, strength of schedule, like the quarterbacks they're facing. They said that Houston had the easiest last year with their awful secondary. They say they have the hardest this year.
Right.
When people go into more detail. So that, and Houston does not have the secondary to stop anybody.
At all. That's one of the reasons why I think they're not going to be as good this season.
But Tennessee's got a much better secondary than Houston. They've got probably one of the best if you think about their safety and corner combination.
I think there's some talent there for sure. So you got Indy coming in first. Anyone else making the playoffs from this division?
If it is a team, I think it's going to be Jacksonville. I honestly think Houston might be last place. I think it's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. I don't think they can dig themselves out of the hole they were in at the beginning of the season last year with who they're facing. Remember, they had a last place schedule. They were 4-12.
Yep. I'm with you, man. I'm not high on Houston this year, so we will see. Hey, Havoc, man, thanks a lot for the call. Love your insight, man. Have a good one.
Have a good one, man.
Take care.
Louie T. Love the show.
Appreciate that, man. Always. All right, that was a really good call. And I love, like I've said before in the past, love when fans of teams in the particular division we're talking about call in, because you get some insight that you just can't get anywhere else. So, Reese says, every team is due for a lucky season. Tell my Bucks that. Hey, look, man, I'm right there with you, bro. We've been 7-9 the last 2 years. Went 8-7-1 the year before that. Where's our lucky season? God damn it. I guess 2015 was that lucky season for us. With you like that. We're due for another one though. Sean Mack says, lucky season. If that were the case, my Browns are due a decade of good luck at least. LOL. Well, I mean, I think yours is coming your way now. I think all the moves you've made, all the draft picks, all of the resources that you have invested in this team, and all the resources you have coming to you in future drafts, I think all of this is a byproduct of bad football for years starting to come to a head, and actually you're now reaping the benefits of that. So we'll see. Sean Mack also says, I don't care who's playing, I'm watching football, period. And I second that wholeheartedly. Silver V says, which team in this division has the best starting running back? I think it's Derrick Henry when he's right and he's getting the football, 22 plus times. I think he's dominant. I think after him, I'd go with Marlon Mack. And then after him, Lamar Miller. I actually like Lamar Miller, but I think he's starting to really slow down, after getting as many carries as he's had over the last couple of years in Houston. And then I think Leonard Fournette, he's only had one good season, so I put him at last in this division because he's a head case. Last year he just mentally wasn't checked in. He's had some issues. If he's right, I think he goes all the way to potentially number one on the list. But Sean Mack says, here where I am at, I even watched Division III powerhouses, St. Francis and Ohio Northern football on TV. Football is football, bro. Oh, yeah? You watching some CFL? You watching some, what's the indoor football called? AFL? You watching that? Arena Football League? You watching that too? Atlas says, what's up, bro? Or what's up, Lou? I'm here late, but I think the Texans can do some damage this year. I think Clowney stays this year at least, but I like their pieces in general. Well, we'll see. I think Clowney actually might be gone. I think that their secondary is a mess, and I think their offensive line is also a mess. So I'm not really high on the Texans, but we will see. Deshaun Watson is legit. That is for certain. And we know what good quarterbacks can do for your football team in this league, so we will see. Sean Mack says, Deion Lewis is another player that always end up missing time to injuries, so they're going to have to rely on Henry to just pound the rock. We'll see if he can stay healthy out there in Tennessee. Ricky L says, Mariota could use a receiver like Treadwell. Ha, ha, ha. Very funny. Nick Riley says, LOL, tell the Jags we got a damn good receiver in Treadwell on the market. Can confirm he will be your best blocking wide receiver and have the bench on lockdown. Oh, a lot of Laquan Treadwell jokes tonight. I see. Reed says, Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, who's the better quarterback? I've always thought Jameis was the better quarterback, but to me, Jameis has the higher upside, but he's also more likely to implode and make mistakes that break your back. So if you're asking me which one has the potential to be the more consistent quarterback, I tell you it's Mariota. You ask me who's got the potential to be better, it's Jameis Winston. But both of them have been hit or miss throughout their careers, and both of them, to me, are on the final straw of their rookie deals with their respective teams. If they don't play well this year, I think both of them will be gone from the teams that drafted them number 1 and number 2 overall, respectively, moving forward. Blackbird Blitz says, LOL, CFL, AFL, why you be clowning? Hey, man said football is football. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Reese says, did you know Jameis' first 5 seasons statistically were very similar to Peyton Manning's first 5 seasons? I'm not saying. I'm just saying, he says. And how was the win totals? That's what I care about. You can throw for 4,000 yards all you like. Are you winning ball games? How's those interceptions to touchdowns? How's that looking? You know, is that ratio 4-1 like Manning's probably was after his rookie season, or is it 2-1 or 1.5-1 or 1-1? That's the problem you have with Jameis Winston. Too many mistakes. Sean Mack says, "Do you think the Calgary Stampeders defend the Grey Cup?" Get the hell out of here, Sean Mack. And you know what? On that note, it's time to get the hell out of here. It's been fun. I actually had a lot of fun doing this. I didn't think we were going to get a lot of calls. I didn't think we were going to get a lot of people to chime in, but I was wrong. You guys showed up strong, and you had some really good takes, and this turned out to be a good night. Looking forward to tomorrow's action. Week 2 of the preseason gets underway. My Redskins will be playing the Cincinnati Bengals at home. I will be live watching that game. If you want to drop through for a second, feel free. If your team is not playing, if your team's playing, by all means, watch your team. That's what I would do. So in any event, make sure you check out the podcast. New episode coming this Friday. Louie T Network, available on Stitcher, Google Music Play, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, and of course the website louietnetwork.net. Also, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And thank you guys for joining me. Remember, if it's not your man T, it's not the best NFL coverage. It could be. Until next time, we got 2 divisions left. Next week, AFC North, NFC North. I'll see you guys for that next week. Have a good one. Take care.
Louie T Network.